What's going on, Bills fans? This is Bills Latest. We are brought to you by FanArc, and it is just the repeat rumor mill at this point. Just the repeat rumor mill. Welcome back in, Crosby. Max Crosby, come on down. The price is right. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's getting to the point where this draft cannot come soon enough so all the rumors stop. And I will say, if you're going to draft defense at 26, but the Raiders want that 26 and say a third round for Crosby, take Crosby. Pretty simple decision there. Not much to think about, in my opinion. I don't know why you would try to gamble on a player and hope, like I said, hope and pray that he turns out to be somebody, because you don't have time for that. So the rumor mill is rumoring. And at some point it's going to stop and all the seats are going to be taken and we're going to find out where everybody's sitting. But Max Crosby is still there, still floated out there, even though after he got rejected by the Ravens and went back to the Raiders, said that he is completely content. He is a Raider for life. He took it very well, handled it very well, but he's already back on the rumor mill. So Vegas is in full rebuild. Bills are in win now. It does make sense for those two teams to work together. However, we have seen what Brandon Beane is capable of. I should say not capable of. And that's landing big-time players like this. Some people will say, well, he landed Diggs. Diggs wasn't he wasn't a top 5 receiver at the time. This is a top 5 D end in the league. He has never punched this high above his weight class, Beane. And he's going to need to and be serious with whatever he puts forth to the Raiders. Has to be a legitimate offer. Because right now he is rumored to be one of the easiest GMs to fleece. So who knows at this point? Who knows? But if all it's taking is this year's 2026 and maybe a third round this year, kind of a no-brainer. Kind of a no-brainer. I just don't think that is going to happen. I just don't see that happening. But if it were to, do I think Crosby is that difference maker to get you over the hump? Maybe. Maybe. It's a new defense. It's a new defense. Again, the stuff that worries me about a Crosby and a Hendrickson, I've said it a million times. Their teams were shit. As much as people put the clout on defense, it's only good if you got a good offense. Or else it's just out there all the time and it's tired. Somebody has to make a play out there. So, me personally, I'm trying to get a proven wide receiver. I would take a George Pickens or an A.J. Brown over a Max Crosby any day of the week. Any day of the week. But we'll see if it's real. I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. But you never know. You never know. But to me, this draft feels like a trade down and load up on draft picks, defensive draft picks. Maybe the only way I see them taking the 26th pick and using it is if one of these wide receivers, like a Denzel Boston, is there, they'll grab him. Other than that, I think they trade it down. I think they trade it down. Get into the second round and then just rip from there. But from the second round down, man, it's scary. A lot of loaded with potential talent. Just potential diamonds in the rough. And we know how well Bean has done with those. Not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. And I just, it's hard for me to see, with where Buffalo is picking in this draft, all the things that they need, which is a little hyper gamey. They don't need that much, but the things that they need are pretty important. I just don't see how they can put together the team with these pieces that are available to them. Unless that you basically hit the lottery and you hit on all of these picks, which Buffalo never does. No team does that, hit on every pick. Or else they would never go into free agency. And you would never see players being re-signed because you could get them cheaper and build bigger. So it's going to be very tough for Buffalo to make any big roster moves without, in my opinion, packaging some of these draft picks for a proven commodity, whether that's on the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side of the ball. I just think this draft capital is spent better elsewhere. You're not in a rebuild. You're in win now. And if you don't win now, then you can talk about your rebuild when Josh leaves to go chase a Super Bowl, because you've pissed him off enough with shit picks, no help around him, DJ Moores of the world. That's when you can start your rebuild. But right now, you cannot be rebuilding. You cannot be looking at this draft and being like, this guy could be it 2 to 3 years from now. That is no good for anybody. Anybody. Because if the Bills don't hit and close this window, and at least, I'm trying to think, like, I think if Bean gets to a Super Bowl, he's fine. But if Bean doesn't even get to a Super Bowl, he's gone. Because what was all this for? To get to a Super Bowl. It wasn't to just get one game further in the playoffs. It's to get to a Super Bowl. So that leash is so tight on Brandon Bean. And he should have just been canned to begin with. But now being under the microscope this much, and the pressure is just tenfold on the picks you have to make. Where other years, if you were a new GM, you could afford to miss on a couple. But he cannot afford to miss. That's why it's either going to be trade back and try to load up and say, well, try to play the hand of, well, we were dealt a shit hand. I did the best we could with it. Or try to package those picks and try to actually get a proven commodity, because that's what they need. And the pressure is on. And I just wonder if Joe Brady thinks he has enough weapons. Does he have enough weapons to take the pressure off of Josh from using his legs all the time? The best NFL running back basically is the best NFL quarterback to rush the ball in history in Josh Allen. Surpasses Vic. He is incredibly dangerous, which is great. But he got that foot injury towards the end of last year. He's getting older. Injuries are going to catch up at some point. And the less you can run him around and the more weapons you have on offense, it's just going to prolong that career. It's just going to make him a better quarterback because he can stand and throw in the pocket. He has no issue throwing the football. The only issue is, can wide receivers get open for him to throw the football? If not, that's when he has to use his legs and his natural instincts take over, and he just goes. And he's a true weapon when he does it. But that runs out. You need that wide receiver, that tight end, somebody on offense to get open. Because if they're not open, he'll be running, he's exposed. Again, I think they need more weapons on offense. I would love to see a Denzel Boston or one of these wide receivers, a Lemon from USC brought in who's been kind of sliding. But we need a big body. We need a big body. And I think if we could get that, it starts to you have to keep that offense good to be able to keep that defense good. They depend on each other. Whether people believe it or not, they depend on each other. Because if the defense is out there all the time, they're just going to be sluggish and tired. They'll be spent by midway through the season. But if they're getting on and off the field and Buffalo's staying on the field, that's a recipe for success right there. But I'm kind of curious as far as Bills fans. Would you unload all those picks for Max Crosby? Again, you guys kind of know where I stand on this. If you're not going to address offense and you can't get a wide receiver, I like this option better than hitting the draft for even a wide receiver or the defensive side of the ball. I want a proven commodity, whether it's offense or defense. So if this was my best trade value, 100% I'm doing it, me personally. Because again, he's shown he can do it, on high levels. You don't have to worry about that. Don't have to worry about that. So we'll see. We're getting closer and closer, folks, to the end of all the rumors. The rumor mill will officially be closed for a few months, coming here shortly. But that has been it for today's Bills latest, folks. Again, we appreciate you watching and listening. We hope you hit that like and subscribe button down below. It helps us out tremendously. Again, we're trying to get to 50. We're so close, so close. And again, we're brought to you by FanArc, and we'll be back with more stuff for you guys next week. Take care.